Absolutely. And I think the impacts are really already starting. Miles really actually started last night just with the elevated rip currents and dangerous beach conditions. And I do want folks to know, we know here in the Carolinas how flooding can be a huge impact. So for those who are seeing that story in Texas, thinking back to Helene and even just having a little bit of tropical storm hurricane anxiety, since this is the first storm that's impacted the Carolinas since Helene, I just want to reiterate to you that this is nothing near that impact. We are going to see rain, but it is going to be minimal and mainly for our eastern communities. One of the reasons why Tropical Storm Chantal extremely lopsided. So the majority of the rain on the eastern side, even for the areas on the eastern part of North Carolina that are going to see better rain chances, again, still nothing like the magnitude of Helene. So right now, rip currents, dangerous beach conditions. Just now, over the past few hours, though, starting to see some rain move into parts there of our coastal communities. So think Myrtle Beach, think Wilmington, think down toward Charleston, where Charleston and Myrtle Beach are going to be two areas that we're watching really closely early tomorrow morning, as likely going to see a landfall somewhere between those two cities. Now, here's the important thing to note. These areas get this kind of impact all the time. One small minor good thing is while Myrtle Beach and Charleston, neither of them want a direct landfall, even from a tropical storm. Charleston going to be more so on the western side of the storm, which is slightly less storm surge impact. I worked in Myrtle Beach, worked there for a few years, and while, of course, again, folks there in Horry County don't necessarily want a direct landfall there of a tropical storm, they're much closer to those higher elevations above sea level. So Charleston is historically much lower. So even a storm getting a little bit closer to them and further away from Myrtle Beach could mean more direct impacts, more significant impacts for that historic city. So just something to keep in mind. Again, landfall likely going to be very early Sunday morning. It's quickly racing inland toward places like Florence, think Kingstree, thinks Orangeburg there in South Carolina, and then takes a really sharp turn there off to the north and east. I've seen a lot of questions from folks about whether or not this storm could take a jog a little bit further west. Certainly some small minor adjustments, but the storm's going to be moving so quickly, and we do have an approaching system that is going to kind of help push that storm away from us here in the Charlotte area. So what to expect? Waking up tomorrow morning, we're going to see some rain. If you have church plans for Sunday morning around 6-7 o'clock, be prepared for some rain. Heaviest is going to be on the eastern side of Charlotte. So think I-77. If we're thinking of that as kind of a split between the two areas, much heavier rain on the eastern side versus what we'll see across the metro. Within that 12-hour period, you see how quickly the rain starts to move out, and by Monday, we've almost forgotten that we had some pockets of heavy rain. But I want to kind of bring back the rain as the big significant impact here, at least for the Charlotte area and for those areas on the eastern side. If you're in places like Richmond County, Anson County, Stanley County, Rowan County, even northeastern parts of Cabarrus, you're most likely to be on the side there, some of those more tropical downpours. When we have tropical rain, it's a lot of heavy rain because there's a lot of moisture, which means we can accumulate things a little bit quicker. Whereas if you're in places like Statesville, Charlotte, Monroe, we're probably going to be on the lower side there, probably closer to a ½ of an inch at a maximum. So for us inland, it's mostly going to be those areas of heavy rain, especially east of Charlotte. Near the coast, already dealing with rip currents, already dealing with dangerous beach conditions. They're also going to deal with about 1 to 2 feet of storm surge along the coast, and still expecting those high rip currents to linger into both Sunday and Monday. So for tomorrow, we're keeping folks weather aware, especially for those areas east of Charlotte, where we want you to be especially alert tomorrow as we track Chantal. You see about a 50-50 shot of rain and storms, again, mainly on the eastern side of our viewing area. We're dry to kick off the work week, the 7th and the 8th, very warm before a more typical summer-like pattern returns with scattered showers and storms for the rest of the work week.